Oh, right. So Kat's just done a thing that she often does in conversations we have, where she starts talking about something without having told me what she's talking about, and then acting confused when I'm not completely on the same page.
Why aren't you in my head? That's my question to you.
Hello, welcome to the Says Who podcast with Kat and Tip. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Not too bad. I've just had some nice soup.
Yes.
Very nice after my food poisoning.
Yeah, so we were recording a lot later than anticipated, which has meant that I haven't been able to talk about this in depth at all since it aired on Saturday.
Been sort of depriving you of your nerd outs.
I have so much to say, and I've not been able to speak to anyone about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what this is for now.
Finally.
So yeah, we're recording on Tuesday evening, and I'm hoping I can get it out like quickly edited and out for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a you problem, not mine.
Brilliant. Thanks for your support. Yeah, so we'll see. But how have you been? How was your week?
Yeah, it's been good, thank you. Just work, thinking about Doctor Who.
I was going to say, how was your run up to Doctor Who's on this weekend?
Oh, I was going crazy. Very excited. I couldn't wait. Because I really liked when it dropped at midnight, because I could have a nap after I got home from work on the Friday, get myself ready, get all my snacks in, duvet on the sofa, docky on the telly at midnight, eat my snacks, talk about it until 3 o'clock in the morning, go to bed and wake up for work the next day.
Right.
But this time, I had to go to sleep knowing that I was waking up to Doctor Who, get ready extra early so that I could sit at 8 o'clock and watch it, and then go and do my job. I was literally sat in my friend's car as she picked me up for work, and we didn't talk for the last 10 minutes because I had Doctor Who. So she just sat in silence, drove me to work while I finished the last 10 minutes of Doctor Who, and then I was like, okay, so now we can talk. Hello, how are you doing?
Nice.
So...
That's... wow. She's putting up with a lot there.
Oh, dedicated. Yeah. Loves the pod.
Big fan.
She's never seen Doctor Who before, had no idea what we were talking about last week, but she was like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay.
Well, there we go then. Big shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to Sasha. I know you're listening. How was your run up to Doctor Who?
Well, I'm a little bit all over the place at the minute, because I've obviously been off.
Yeah.
I had my gallbladder out.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
So I was off work for about 3-4 weeks with that. So I feel like I'm in the middle of a time fracture. Like I don't really know what day it is.
Nice.
And I was saying, like, I didn't realise that it was this weekend.
What?
I had in my head it was the 12th.
Yeah.
I knew it was the 12th, Saturday the 12th.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, that's this Saturday. That's not next. So I was all out of whack. So I'm really not with it.
Fake fan alert.
But I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You give this guy a podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, I am actually really looking forward to it now. So
should we get into our review? Because I've been itching to talk about this.
You are literally chomping at the bit, aren't you? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
We haven't spoken. I don't even know if he likes it. We haven't even spoken anything about it. He hasn't checked my Twitter, so he hasn't seen anything I've posted. So I have no idea if he liked it or disliked it.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah, he hasn't been on Twitter, so he hasn't seen any of what I put. So
completely blind to how each other felt.
Okay, tell me, just straight out the bat, tell me, did you like it?
Yeah.
Good. You.
I've just seen across the way about 4 snipers just dismount.
The red dots have gone.
Yeah, I wonder what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked it, I'd say.
Okay.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, right.
I did. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts.
Well, first,
yeah,
I thought you could give us a recap of the story.
Because I wrote out the whole plot
Um,
in my notes.
I actually didn't know that. I was just going to put you on the spot, but
Oh.
of course, you've written out the whole plot.
Okay.
Give me like a summary,
Okay.
a Cliff Notes guide to
Oh gosh.
the Robot Revolution.
Sure, the Robot Revolution. So we start off with Belinda and her ex-boyfriend now, Alan. He gives her a star certificate diploma thing for her birthday. And then tries to marry her. She's like, absolutely not. No, thank you, Alan. Anyway, 17 years later, we hit to now. She's doing her thing, which I really, really enjoy. I love when we get a little insight into Russell's new characters. So I really enjoyed going through that journey with Belinda while the Doctor's frantically trying to get to her. And then she gets kidnapped by some robots. Which I thought was, oh my god, they look so incredible. I love them.
I love how I've given you the mission of like summarising the plot, and you've already gone on like 3 little mini tangents.
I don't know why you trusted me with this. Okay, fine. Really brief then. She's in a spaceship. Schwupp. Ends up at her planet. We meet side characters. They die. Then the Doctor goes to the North Zone with Belinda, and then they make her feel bad, so then she... Oh, Polish. He's just so cute. So then she reactivates Polish so that they can detect them. They come and get her. She finds out, oh my god, it's Alan and you're half robot. What the hell is going on? And then the 2 diplomas touch. And then, whoop, madness. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful sequence. He turns into a sperm and an egg. Polish comes and does the deed. Gets rid of him. And then the Doctor can't get her home.
I think we're going to make Little Cat Recaps a recurring segment for each episode.
That is as basic as I could get it.
Yeah.
Would you say that's fair?
I would say it's definitely fair to say it's as basic as you could get it, because I could feel you actively stopping yourself from going, oh,
things.
This thing.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's very good.
Thank you. Nice and brief.
So we open, as you say, with our new companion, Belinda.
Yes.
Played by lovely Varada Sethu, who's great.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
She's really good.
Instantly, just from the get-go, I was like, I really, really like you. I really enjoy you. I think she's brilliant. Her comedic timing is perfect. Her deliveries are perfect.
I think
she's really good.
She definitely brings... Because I kind of knew going in, I was like, you know when somebody just feels like a good fit for the show, and like...
And did you see in Unleashed? Because as Russell was writing it, he was like, I don't know. They were auditioning people, and he was like, no one's the right fit. And then as he was watching things from Boom, he was like, oh my god, there we go.
Yeah.
Did you see Unleashed?
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that is perfect.
Yeah, because I think it's a similar thing to what they did with Freema, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, because I do feel like it's one of those things where, yeah, so you've had them turn up once before.
Yeah.
Why let that stand in the way of...
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then especially they're kind of like, you know, maybe doing something with it. I don't know. We'll get into that later.
I was going to say I think they handled that perfectly. We'll get to it. Oh, really?
Not sure.
Really? Oh, see, I don't know that you think all these things.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Stop jumping ahead. We're jumping to the end.
Yeah, literally.
We haven't even got
scene.
even discussing the first scene yet.
So we get all of the stuff with him buying her a star, and then there's quite a nice transition of going panning up to the sky, shooting star.
17 years later,
panning back down, and we're by the hospital with the TARDIS materialising. Seen quite a few people being like, that looked janky, and I was like, I thought that was just because I hadn't put my glasses on at this point. I don't know. I get the feeling that the prop wasn't on set
Right.
and they've just done it in post.
Right.
So maybe the lighting's not quite right. It's nothing that's like horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, I did notice it personally.
Maybe something with having to pan back down from the sky.
Yes.
I don't know. Let's get on to some actual
Yeah, please.
stuff. So we get a nice little montage situation
Yeah, with
of
Belinda.
doing her nursing,
Yeah.
and the doctor kind of knocking about
Mhm.
trying to find her.
Yeah.
I did really like that.
So did I. That's what I really enjoyed. It was really dynamic.
Really nice little sequence.
Yeah.
And it felt almost like you'd had the little prologue and then bam,
Bam,
we're in the
straight
story
in.
now.
What I liked is I felt like it was Rose, Smith and Jones, and Partners in Crime in one. And this is a good thing. Like, I felt like it felt like a really good introduction to the character. All of his best bits from his first run were in that sequence.
Yeah, I would say it's most closely related to Smith and Jones.
Yeah.
And I don't even think just because of the sort of like surface level.
No, it's vibe.
Parallels. Yeah, and even
like...
just Companion is transported into space.
Yeah.
Unwillingly by aliens.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's breaking it down to very
very basic.
bones.
Yeah.
But those sort of core elements, I think there was a lot of that sort of stuff. Yeah, I really liked that little sequence.
Yeah, same.
What do you think to the Doctor switching off all the power and all the life support machines?
It was so funny because I didn't even read that when I did my first watch. I didn't even think about that. It wasn't until my second I was like, that could be a problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it was just a bit. It's just Russell having a little bit of fun.
It was a good little gag. I did like it.
That's what the opening was.
Yeah.
I guess it was just Russell having a bit of fun. Same with the cat, which I know a lot of people kicked off about as well.
Yeah, we'll get to the cat.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get the end of that little sequence.
Yep.
Belinda goes home to
student accommodation, student housing, shared accommodation.
I assumed it was just some kind of flat share.
Yeah, flat share situation. Yeah.
Like a house share sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then, bam, big robot boys.
Oh my goodness! Can we just appreciate how beautiful?
Go on.
This scene is.
Have a little minute. I'm gonna have a sip of water.
Go on.
You go off on one.
No, the shot of Belinda in bed, and then you've got the lighting come through from the spaceship through the window. How that glazes over her. It pings the certificate off on her wall. Oh my god, all of it. Now, the 50s retro sci-fi aesthetic is so beautiful design-wise. Oh my goodness. And the built sets were absolutely beautiful. But that lighting, on it, I was in awe the whole way through. I was like, every shot was lit so beautifully. I was so happy with it.
It did look, I like, overall, I think it looked really, really nice.
It was.
I think, so Peter Hall, who directed, also did Good Man Goes to War, I want to say.
Right.
Let me just get his own IMDb up. But I thought it looked really, really nice throughout. That, especially the standout shot for me was that the one you were just talking about, of the light coming through the blinds onto Belinda. Really, really nice. Mm-hmm. So he directed A Good Man Goes to War.
Right.
He also did It's a Sin with Russell.
Yep.
He's done some stuff on The Last of Us.
Nice.
And I think he might have done some stuff on Daredevil.
Right.
Yes, he did some stuff on Daredevil. Some of the other Marvel Netflix stuff. Mm-hmm. Umbrella Academy, Altered Carbon. So he's done like a fair bit of sci-fi stuff, to be fair, and like fantasy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was nice to see him kind of come back. I think he did a really, really good job with
absolutely.
This one.
This is the thing. Direction and design, I had nothing negative to say.
No.
It was 10 out of 10 for me.
Genuinely, the only thing for me, like,
was the TARDIS at the beginning.
Was the TARDIS at the beginning. And a little bit of the green screen work on the bridge
with Alan.
No, sorry.
No.
On the where the rocket lands
Yeah.
and they walk Belinda in.
See, the only, not janky, but the only bit I noticed, I don't really notice that thing. The only thing I noticed a little bit was when they had captured Alan and they were walking on the bridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that same
yeah,
that same shot, but for towards the end with the Doctor and Belinda,
Yeah.
and then when it was just Belinda.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten there's a bit with Alan
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
that's
too.
what I meant with Alan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That bit.
Yeah, all of that. There was a little bit, but also it's
Again, nitpick.
yeah,
It wasn't.
exactly. Because the rest of it looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
of the like on set stuff.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All of the actual like practical set.
stuff. Oh, beautiful.
Really, really
I
nice.
loved seeing that transition in Unleashed from the empty studio and then the practical sets afterwards and the world that they created. Oh, it was. That gets me so excited. I loved it so much. That's my thing. I was like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, I thought generally it looked really, really good. As you say, that kind of like retro futurism.
Yeah.
Jetsons kind of space age vibe.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
Yeah, it looked really, really cool. And I think I can't think of anything in recent memory that's done that kind of style.
Yeah.
I definitely can't think of anything Doctor Who wise that's done that.
No.
Other than stuff that was coming out in the 60s. Because that was kind of what sci-fi was at that point.
Yeah. It really scratched the spot in my brain.
Scratch that itch.
You did.
But yeah, so then we...
Okay, here's one then.
Go on.
Same scene. The robots have just captured Belinda. I saw some comments which I didn't necessarily agree with, so I'm curious to hear what your views were about Belinda's reactions to the robots. I read some comments that her kind of witty remarks took people out of the story a little bit. I didn't think so. I thought some were played for comedy, which was great, but as in her being funny, like a funny character. Yeah. That. And also, some of them, even if they were maybe a bit witty, I definitely know people who would be in that situation and make those exact remarks because they can't really comprehend what's going on at the moment, and the best way they could process it is by making some sort of sarcastic, jokey remark.
Yeah, I don't like the very intense stare that you're giving me.
Direct eye contact.
Yeah.
I definitely know people.
It's definitely a coping mechanism, I guess, with I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. He owes me 50 quid.
Like,
because that's something that I know to be true and within my world, that he owes me £50. I am currently in space, by the way, just been captured by robots. Am I dreaming? He owes me 50 quid.
Yeah, you know? Fall back on something.
Think that, like, when she's, when the Doctor makes a remark to her when she's just done the X-ray blanket and things like that, and she's like, oh, now that's something I know. Like, grounding that back into her reality. I can't remember what the comment was, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
didn't jar me.
I did on a second. So I've watched this twice now.
Is that
it? I've been violently ill.
Yeah, sorry.
On my first watch, genuinely didn't notice any of that.
Yeah.
I'd seen a couple of people say some stuff, but I kind of tried to keep off Twitter, mainly to avoid to see what you said. But yeah, on the second watch, I did go, yeah, maybe that is a bit kind of quippy.
Yeah.
But as you say, I don't think it wasn't anything. I mean, I'm not being funny. We had 7 years of Stephen Moffat Doctor Who, where and I really like Stephen Moffat, but no Stephen Moffat characters talk like real human beings.
No, they are not real human beings at all.
Nobody talks like that. But I can still buy into this character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking like it's not a thing. There's a certain element of suspension of disbelief. I think
if she was cracking jokes left, right, and centre, and none of it was grounded, then fair.
Yeah.
But I think everything that she said, it was deserved.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
think it's a kind of like this is something that I really liked about her as a character, that she was in a kind of what what now?
Yeah.
Like what? I just want to go to
I
bed.
just
I've got
yeah.
work in the morning.
I've got a new
What
shift.
is this?
Yeah.
I think having that sort of snark,
Mm.
because it's not even just like she points that at the doctor,
Yeah.
she points that
Eh,
at Alan,
yeah, and the
like at
robots.
the robot. She's doing
But
a little
also
bit of
she
a like sarcastic thing when she's talking to Mrs. Flood and going, "Oh yeah, I'm like Queen of
I'm
the
the queen of
Universe."
outer
Like,
space.
yeah,
If you'd like to tell the police, that made me laugh. But also, she does it. I think what grounds it as well is when she's being sarcastic as well to her patients. Like this isn't just. It's
yeah,
not just in outer space with all of these aliens. It's everyone. That is just her baseline.
yeah. She just seems very like developed as a person,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's.
Absolutely. And that's what I really enjoy coming off the back of Ruby as well.
Hmm.
Because the things that the doctor would say to Ruby, she found really profound and like, oh my god, like she idolized
Hmm.
15 so much and they were just besties straight away, all of this. Belinda's like, this is ridiculous. She wasn't having any of it, and it was such a nice contrast
Yeah,
to have a
it's a
companion that's like, what? No, this is ridiculous.
it's just a
What are
really
you
nice
saying to me?
dynamic to.
Yeah,
She just felt like a person that had lived a
lived,
life.
yeah, human,
And I don't
which
even
I can
think
believe.
I don't even think that's necessarily a drag on Ruby, because
No,
like
no, I'm not dragging Ruby
no
in
no
any
no, I
sense.
mean
They're two very different characters.
when I say that she feels like a person that's lived a life,
Oh, yeah.
because Ruby kind of hasn't lived a
She's
life. She's
living her
19,
life, yeah.
so she literally hasn't lived a life.
No.
Um, and then you get someone who's got 10 years on her, and you've got that kind of sense of
Lived experience.
yeah, and she's a bit more sure of herself
Yeah.
and knows who she is.
Well, she knows who she is. She's
Which
very sure of herself.
And I think when you throw that kind of character into a situation like this,
Yeah, they respond as
that's-
such.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where you get interesting
Yeah.
stuff.
It didn't take me out of it at
No,
all.
not at all, not at all.
It did let me. I felt like her character is really grounded, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly who Belinda is.
Hmm. Like you were saying, where she's in the ship.
Mm.
You want Alan Budd, he's the one that did
Yeah.
this. Just that kind of like flippant, oh, for God's sake, I didn't even like it. It's all his fault. Like
Yeah.
that bloody stupid, da, 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 da. Oh, he owes me 50 quid. And
Yeah.
all of that. I don't know. I really liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And how that then comes back later
Yeah.
on, because it does feel like a kind of, it's played and sort of framed as an offhanded
yeah,
sort
comment.
of quip.
Yeah.
But then
It's integral.
yeah, is
to
like
the-
really central to the
Yeah.
plot, which is quite nice. Which I think this episode does a few
Yeah.
little sort of,
Mhm.
you know, we've set this up here,
Yeah.
and then it comes back later
Well,
on.
absolutely, yeah.
And most of them worked for me.
I was gonna say it did work for me. It was noticeable, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And then when it comes back at the end, it paid off. It was on the nose, but not on the nose in a sense in a negative way. It was like, "Oh, what you've just dropped here is obviously going to play a part in it. Oh, look, it's played a part, and the payoff was there."
See, when I first heard it, I just thought it was that kind of like, oh, for God's sake.
No, not Alan. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the certificate, diploma.
What about it?
What do you mean, what about it? We're talking about things that are set up flippantly and then come back to be integral to the plot.
What about the certificate are you talking about?
Oh, when her and the doctor are having the conversation about two atoms.
Oh, right. So Kat's just done a thing that she often does in conversations we have, where she starts talking about something without having told me what she's talking about, and then acting confused when I'm not completely on the same page.
Why aren't you in my head? That's my question to you.
I mean, chronologically, we haven't even got to the titles yet.
We haven't.
We're bouncing about here.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I just wanted to quickly touch on
Cat obliteration. What, they used the same set from the Star Beast that everyone's crying about?
No, not that. Don't care.
Cool.
Is
Good.
Do you know what I mean? Irrelevant
Yeah.
issue. The
Yeah.
cat's irrelevant. The house
House
is
is
irrelevant.
irrelevant.
Tell you who's not irrelevant.
Go on.
One Anita Dobson,
Yeah.
Mrs. Flood. Go on.
It's just the way Belinda's just like, please help me. She's like, bye-bye. Waves.
Just
Oh,
like,
good
all
luck.
right, and sweetheart,
See you
okay.
later. And it's like, that is beautiful.
You know what,
Belinda
though?
is really scared. She's getting trampled by these robots who can't see where they're looking, by the way, because of the suits.
I know,
She's
yeah.
getting battered about by these
There is
robots.
one shot where she
Gets hit in the
she
face with
really
the arm.
gets
Yeah.
pushed by one into
Into the arm of the other.
bless her.
They could not, oh bless them, they could not see where they were going. Bye-bye. It's her wave. I'm like, I love you. I love you.
The best thing about that for me, I think that would be exactly the conversation if I were in Belinda's shoes and Mrs. Flood were my nan. Because she just wouldn't, like, my nan's pretty much deaf. So there is absolutely no danger of her hearing this. And wouldn't get it. Would be like, oh, all right then, have a nice time.
Yeah, bye.
Nan, I'm being abducted by aliens.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'll see you on Monday, yeah?
Yeah. But I like how you saw her and was like, yeah, my nan would do the same.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Like, oh, if this were genuine, that'd probably be not far off. But yeah, I quite liked the Little Mrs. Flood bit. It was a fun little scene.
I'm wearing her house coat right now.
I beg your pardon?
My little house coat, and she's wrapped up.
I see. I genuinely thought for a minute you'd like
screen accurate
somehow done like a little cosplay ID.
That's not unlike me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought the only thing with that was I don't know if it was doing too much before the titles. Like, it felt a little bit odd to me to have...
Oh, yeah, of course, they're on her title sheet. She has it shout Belinda.
To have her do, you ain't seen me, and then 10 seconds later,
again, didn't jar me.
I don't know, there was something about that was like, it kind of threw me out. I almost feel like the titles maybe could have come at the point where they hold up the star certificate.
Yeah,
and she goes,
that could have been
you're kidding me. Into
titles. That would have been a better...
And then come out of titles with them moving her out of the house.
Yeah, that could have worked. But then you've got him looking up at the rocket and shouting, Belinda! Whoom. Choreographically, that flowed.
I feel like your pre-title sequence needs to build in momentum to that sort of crescendo. You have the titles and then you carry on.
I don't.
For me, it felt like it was sort of building, and we've got the plot and Belinda, and we're all in that, and then all of a sudden Mrs. Flood's like does a little wink and a nod to the camera, and then I'm now not as focused on Belinda.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's, but again, nitpick. Nitpick. So titles, we've made it.
Yay!
Only another 40 minutes to
go.
Yeah. So post titles. And we get them in the rocket. Really liked all of the visuals there, all the VFX, all of the schwap.
I love the schwap. That was really impressive.
It
looked good.
Looked really cool.
Yeah.
And then we get to Miss Belinda Chandra 1.
Yeah. There's 2 points where I thought, oh, this looks quite Star Wars. When Sasha comes and starts talking originally, it's mainly costume. And at the end, when Alan's first arrives on the planet before he kills that guy who's trying to speak out against him.
Oh yeah, he
looked like a
Jedi
Star Wars.
coded.
Yeah, I was like, you are from Star Wars, no? I mean, it's not jarring. It fits with the whole aesthetic. I'm not angry about it.
And it's the same way that we're like, oh, this bit looks kind of like Jetsons and looks kind of, Flash Gordon-y. Like, so yeah, we get to the planet.
Yeah.
We have a little bit looks a little bit Star Wars.
Yeah.
We meet Sasha 55.
Okay, here's my first nitpick.
Go on.
And I only have 2 nitpicks, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I actually kind of talked myself out of this one.
Go. Okay.
So I wanted to discuss it with you so I can finalise my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Sasha? Because I think, considering I'm in 2 minds I know I just asked for your opinion and I've just interrupted you instantly.
Yep.
Because in one mind, I think she's actually very integral to the future dynamic of Belinda and 15, and really adds layers onto the 15th Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the same breath, my first initial thoughts were Russell's created a character that he's trying to make us care about, but we don't care about her because we've seen no interaction here, and she immediately dies. But I talked myself out of that.
Uh-huh.
Because actually, after watching it about 6 times, I I do think she was actually quite integral to at least character development and things like that. But I want to hear your thoughts first.
So, a lot of the issues that I think people have with it is that it is such a small amount of screen time that we get with her.
Yeah.
And the little that we do get with her isn't particularly character driven, or we don't really get a sense of who she is other than that one line where she goes, in 6 months I've learned to trust him with my life, like, go get her home and then
take me to the star. Yeah.
And that is a line where you go, okay, well, she's dying.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You see her then, you're like, oh, she's dead now. That's nice.
Yeah, it's the classic Doctor promising that it will take somebody with them whilst in the middle of a story.
But
no,
but
he should learn by now.
Yeah,
he should be like, oh, every time I do that, they die.
But you know, that just makes it so much more exciting when you hit the final scene. Because that just looks like when I first watched it, and this is where my revelation came. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, she's dead. Like, that's it. Great, cool. We're just trying to set up so that we have something that the Doctor's been there for 6 months. He's made relationships. He's got a friendship now. Now he's upset because she's dead. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is more than that. Because this is, and this is what I think is so poetic about it, because this is Belinda's all of this is her first meeting with the Doctor properly.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just kind of learned to trust him, not trust him, but like she's like, okay, well, this is someone who knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of got everyone rallying around him, so he's the one that's going to protect me. I've kind of got to go along with this and see what's going on, that kind of thing. So there's that kind of like trust that she is putting into him somewhat, because she doesn't know what's going on and he's holding more information than she has. And then she has that tiny dialogue with Sasha where she's like, I get that you don't trust him, but I have had 6 months with him and wow, I am ready for him to take me to the stars. Introducing a character that is set up to technically be his next companion, not Belinda, which is even more exciting for the episode in general and what we're going to see later. But then she dies and Belinda's like, okay, he promised that he was going to keep us all safe, and now she's dead. And she saw how excited them two are together. She's seen how upset he is when she dies. And then at the end, he's all jumpy, he's happy, he's excited, he's like, maybe it's destiny. Oh, we're being drawn together. What if something else? What is all this? And he's on this height, and she's like, is that what you said to Sasha? You know, the one that about an hour ago she's dead and she thought you were going to take her around the universe.
Yeah.
And now look at this reaction. This is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not, she obviously doesn't know this, but I'm not some 19-year-old that's going to run around and play happy-go-lucky besties with you. What? And oh my goodness, just even from that scene alone, that just adds so much more weight. Yeah. And I didn't get that from the first reading, but watching it again and then obviously analysing the characters and things like that, I was like, God, Russell. Your hands are burning.
That was the scene that made me go, yeah, okay, I'm feeling good about this season.
Yeah.
But I think what was intended was, this is a character that the Doctor has formed, even though we haven't.
Yeah, they have.
The Doctor has formed, obviously, a close relationship with over these 6 months.
I was going to say, it just grounds the 6 months, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of time hop.
When she dies, we're supposed to feel sorry for him, but also like, we don't really know her, so I can't.
No.
And that's Belinda.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that kind of lessened that for me was the crying. And not because he cried here.
Yeah.
It's not the fault of this episode.
Yeah.
but it's just lessened by the fact that he has cried so much.
Yeah.
I know people have kind of taught this to death, and this isn't me saying like men can't cry.
No,
Men,
and this is the thing. While you're trying to push things through a media platform and through television and things like this, it's absolutely okay for men to cry, men to have feelings and things like that. But when you put it into every episode, it lessens that meaning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying this the other day, babes, I have been known to cry every day. Completely fine. Completely valid. I will cry over hard things. I will also cry over dropping a fork on the floor. Doesn't matter. I'm a very emotional person.
It's tough sometimes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fine. But when you're trying to portray it through something like this and you're trying to, make it, not make it okay because it should already be okay, obviously, but when you're trying to push these things and normality, when you have this in every single episode, it does lessen that meaning that you're trying to say.
Yeah, I think even just from like a non-political air quotes like stance,
but it
just from a narrative and character thing. So I think if we hadn't seen him cry
every episode
of last season, then that probably would have hit a bit more.
Yeah.
And I think the kind of disconnect of, I feel sorry for him, but also I don't know this person. I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
It could be that it's not, and it's meant to just be like, oh, you care about her, don't you? Because the doctor cares about her.
Yeah.
If that was what was intended, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But for me, I took it as, even though you don't know her, Belinda doesn't know her.
No.
But it's obviously affected him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we get to see her compassionate side as well. It's a soft moment, and I like Russell's fluctuations between dynamic, action-packed, fast-paced, and then bringing it down and having softer moments.
Besides the ending, my favourite moment from Belinda is just after that scene where, is it Manny, where he comes out and says, oh, it's all Queen, but it's your fault, like basically you killed her and and all of this, and she goes, this isn't my fault, mate. Like, I don't know, there's something about that delivery. You can feel the frustration and the kind of confusion. There's like guilt in there, but also, no, I've not done anything.
This isn't my fault.
You, I don't
and
know.
And then the doctor tries to step in, and she's like, "Don't talk."
Yeah. I can do this
myself.
Yeah.
I love that whole sequence. I was really like, yes, let's go.
I've really
good character work.
Watching it today, I was like, she has so much agency in the script, as much, if not more, than the doctor.
Yeah.
Which I think
is
you need
necessary
for like a companion introduction, really.
Absolutely.
Because it's just the foundations of a Doctor Who plot, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got your foundations. Now you can bring in and start building your world, building your characters, building dynamics.
Did what it needed to do.
Absolutely.
And actually wasn't as by the numbers as I thought it was going to be.
How do you mean, sorry?
So as soon as they started introducing the Schwab and the time fracturing and all of those timey-wimey elements, I was like...
Are you 6?
I am 6. Yes. I'm in a curly blonde wig.
I was going to say, you can't see what I'm seeing right now, but he's in a full 6th Doctor cosplay.
Yeah. Change, my dear. Yeah, I was like, okay, so we're actually kind of diving into some sort of more sci-fi concepts, and I thought we were going to... Because I thought it was just going to be a little space adventure. Look, there's big robots. We got to fight the robots, and
it was more than that.
And then it kind of in the third act we get a bit more stuff going on, which I appreciated. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it kind of didn't need to do that.
And this is what I really enjoyed about the episode as well, because it was basic enough for even my little brain to understand. Because I do need to sit and heavily write down plots of some of the more timey-wimey ones, just so I can get my head around it and process it a bit more, because I, shocker, don't like sci-fi. The only thing that I don't. The only thing I like that's sci-fi is Doctor Who. Anything else I'm not interested in. So when they talk really sciencey and do timey-wimey things, it takes me a bit. I have to sit down, really write it down, sit, like scene by scene, subtitles on, writing the dialogue, making sure I'm hitting all the notes so that I can spin it back around and be like, oh, okay, so this happens here, so then that means they can go back here and do this here. But this one was even simple enough for me to understand off the bat. I was like, this is good. I like this.
I do think there's still a little bit of the clunky exposition in
No,
here.
I disagree. I will disagree on this one.
Okay, are we gonna about the two hearts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that it was all of the kind of Doctor Who timey-wimey stuff was just drip-fed really nicely. I don't feel like that was clunky exposition at all. I felt like it flowed.
It's only in this specific moment. I think everything else was pretty much, you know, I really like the where they're discussing like the different organ
Yeah.
that they have, this race have, and the whole thing of like, oh, is that better than humans?
And
that
was
if you like
the most normal thing I've
like if we're gonna get into a conversation of whose body's
who's
better, and you know,
yeah.
that was a really nice little moment.
Yeah. I love Russell's softer moments after something that was so heavily paced and action packed.
Yeah. And also that feels like a nice, you can kind of see that relationship forming, even though it's very sort of, you know, rocky. Yeah. The X-ray blanket's a cool sort of concept, but then him just going, no, I'm a different race. Oh, look at this.
No, but see, do you want to see how I read it? Because I'm looking at the Doctor through a different light now. I think that was really nice and clever for him to be a bit of a showmaster, show off, and was like, yeah, you like that? Well, look at this. 2 hearts. Check out my 2 hearts. You think him having a double pancreas or whatever he had, what was it?
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, you think it's cool that he doesn't have the same human format. Can you tell I'm sciencey? Situation going on to you? Yeah, well, check this out. 2 hearts, baby. What do you think of this?
Well, yeah.
That's how I read it. And she was like, oh my God, this is quite cool. And then obviously she was like, can I have a listen? And then I felt like she was geeking out a little bit because she was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that bit, the actual thing of her reaction to it and kind of being like, oh wow, like that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
I felt him being a bit like egotistical. Well, check this out then. You think that's cool? Yeah, well, look at this.
I hadn't really seen it like that. That's fair.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's why I don't think it's clunky.
Yeah, for me, I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel like there might be a more organic way to have to sort of do... Like,
he's trying to impress her. Remember, she doesn't like him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he's just come off the bat of Ruby loving him.
He's kind of got a fight.
He's trying to fight for her, and he's like, "Why aren't you liking me straight away?"
This doesn't happen.
Everyone likes me, and everyone follows what I'm doing. Why aren't you doing that? Yeah, well, you think that's impressive. Well, I can impress you too. I've got 2 hearts. Look at this.
Okay, you've won me around on that one. Won me around.
I won.
So we should get to let's do the 9th word.
Oh my God! I was literally about to say, can we do the 9th word? I love stuff like that. I love it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I eat it for breakfast.
There was a really uncomfortable look that she gave me after that. I just want everyone to be aware that I don't know what it was meant to convey.
Excitement.
But discomfort was what I was getting. Sorry, go on, discuss your breakfast.
I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. I love things like that, especially when I have to really tune in and listen, and then I can sit and count every word as well. And then I'm like, oh, he said pain here. Oh, he said this. Oh, he said this. I loved it.
I thought the first time round, I really, really liked it. Yeah. I thought it really works. Mm-hmm. As you say, the editing, even though it was literally spelling it out to you, it didn't feel too ham-fisted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved Belinda's take to that as well, where she was like, okay, well, I'm just going to filler word it then, because the 9th word is most important. So she was like, very much, or whatever she said.
Yeah, to try to just get to
the thing.
So it worked for me with the first instance of the Doctor doing it, but then when we get to Alan later on, because Alan is
It's the wrong anagram.
It's the wrong anagram. It's the AI generator is the owl generator. What did you think to that twist?
I was just like, oh my god, it's Al, because I didn't expect it to be Al.
Yeah,
Get
but
it.
also as soon as you started talking about like,
well, when he said like, when she was like, wait, that's what he, well, when he said, are you married or whatever, when his reaction to it, when she said you can drop the miss.
Yeah, I knew by then.
Yeah,
and then I was like,
obvious,
AI
Al, of
yeah,
course.
Yeah.
And then the bit moved down, and I was like, yeah, of course. But I was more excited than that. Like, it was obvious, but it wasn't obvious in the way of, oh, eye roll. Okay, let's think of something better.
Yeah,
it was
like,
just quirky, and it was good.
It's okay, yeah. Like it's
of course it is.
Cheeky,
that's nice.
it's fun. It's like
it was just a fun.
It felt like the Anne droid.
Yeah.
Like something, just like a dumb little gag.
Yeah.
How did you feel about him being the villain and
eye level villain?
Planet of the Incels?
I mean, I felt like his character was nice and complex, and I enjoyed seeing the journey from the beginning to how he ended up, because it was believable to me.
Yeah.
I think maybe because I've been around, unfortunately, and had first-hand experience with people like him, that it was very believable to me. And then some of the things that he was saying, I could get on board and believe that this guy got captured by robots, saw, oh my god, this is like a game, I'm in control, I have power here, I can do anything I want, and this is exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it was
100% believe
I think
that.
it's one of those like fun, it's not, I don't think it's particularly subtle.
No, it doesn't
and
have to be.
I don't know if I'd agree that it was complex or like that layered.
No, I felt for him as a character it was layered. Like, he wasn't just a two-dimensional villain. That was just there for... I saw different sides to him and different things come through.
There was a bit of light and shade there, wasn't there?
And I did see it... I don't know, I thought it was a good three-dimensional villain, to be honest. Even just for an episode like that, an introductory episode.
Yeah, and I think there was definitely... It wasn't like one note.
No.
I think that's what it is. Because I've seen quite a few people say like they didn't see or like hear any of that like kind of coercive behaviour at the start. Like I've seen a few people say that, and I was like, literally from his first time, where he's like, "Oh, I know girls aren't good at maths," and I was like,
"Dick." Yeah, instantly. I'm frowning. How did you not?
So I don't know if I don't know. And there's a few lines in there,
but that's also the thing. It doesn't have to be, I guess, directly obvious. Even just little remarks like that just chip away at you over time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be full on in your face what you would stereotypically see as coercive control.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's walking the line between not being completely direct in your face. Oh, look, he's a wrong'un.
Yeah.
Because he's a bit pathetic and he's just a loser. Yeah. Like he is an incel. Yeah. Like that's... But also being able to do that for a 7:00 audience on Saturday night for BBC primetime, like,
yeah,
I think it struck the balance.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think Russell did.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I know there'll be people that are up in arms about Planet of the Incels and all of this, but I do feel like, I think it was Tharies that said, if you're annoyed at this line, then maybe
have a look in the mirror.
Like the one thing I did, so with the ninth word thing with Alan, the doctor says something along the lines of, oh, he's still, every ninth word is the real him, or something.
It is, yeah.
And that's when he's saying like, help me, pain, I'm in pain, save me, or something. Does that mean that that's like the human side of him, and this is the robot that's talking majority of the time?
Yeah.
Because then I think that kind of lessens it, because surely the point is that real Alan wanted to be in control.
So this was my reading of it, because there's two things in what you just said. One, I read it as exactly that. His human side initially had this idea. He thought it was a game. He wanted the power. He had the power. Here we go. This is my time to lead. So that was the
catalyst
spark. Yeah, that was that. So once he was programmed into that, that was the core baseline of what that programming is.
Right. So
and it's still all that side of his thoughts and feelings, and that's all still him. That's still at the core. And his main focus was to get Belinda there so that they could be together, programmed together, married, all of that. He was still wanted her in control, things like that. But then on the ninth beat, his other emotions where he's in pain, and it could be some kind of regret, some remorse, anything like that.
Yeah. But I think it just felt a little bit muddled.
Yeah.
To me.
Because
I was like, so is this, like, is he aware that he's doing, like, is he in control of every ninth word having a hidden meaning like the Doctor was? Is it subconscious and it's when you put it together? Is it that the first 8 words are the sort of the AI?
Well, I was going to say that's the generated bit. Yeah.
Or I was like, is it meant to be that there's just a hidden meaning and him being like, I'm in pain, save me, is just to go, no, he is just a pathetic little boy, like underneath it all. I don't know. I feel like, and I think any of those work,
yeah. But it wasn't clear.
It just wasn't clear. So yeah, we get the big climax.
Yes.
If you're, pardon the pun. So we get the two certificates touch in, and we get a little.
Oh, I love it.
Blimovich limitation effect situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's what actually I was literally about to say before you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, so, and then we get that really cool, trippy sequence.
Loved it. But again, it fits aesthetically, doesn't it?
With that kind of 60s sort of
vibes.
Retro future thing. Really, really nice little cinematic sequence.
Yeah, I loved it.
Felt really sort of experimental and
exactly,
trippy.
But it was placed accurately.
And I think, as a director, you read in the script, the two certificates touch, and every atom implodes, and and you go, oh Jesus, how am I gonna
do that?
And then little Alan becomes even little Alan.
even literally. Polish.
He's a sperm and an egg. It did feel a little bit strange hearing the word sperm in Doctor Who. I think that was genuinely my first thought. It was like,
oh, the Doctor just said sperm.
Hearing Doctor Who say sperm. But yeah, and he gets
polished
up. How do you feel about the fact he laughs about his death?
I mean, he had done atrocities.
He had.
I mean, I laughed, to be honest, at Polish. Just the fact that he just swept him up.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
It was just funny, wasn't it?
I thought it was funny. He was a baddie. I don't know. I think it's the fact that it's like, oh, he's a sperm and an egg, and then it's like he's not got any control over it, and it's like, oh.
And I think it's good that they set it up from the beginning. Literally, the first moment we see Polish, he cleans up whatever's around the Queen's feet because she shouldn't have.
It's really nice. So
obviously, little Polish, he's only doing his job.
I mean, he's the true
star of the show.
MVP of this episode.
Major, he stole the show.
Yeah, I mean, Belinda's good, I guess.
Yeah, Belinda. Yeah, I mean, you're sick, you're cool. Like, I really enjoy you as a character, and I can't wait to see what's coming for you. But hello, Polish.
Polish. So yeah, and then we end up back on the bridge.
Yeah.
The Doctor gets the TARDIS back. Thoughts on Belinda calling the TARDIS?
Yeah.
When the Doctor never refers to it as that. He just calls it his ship.
I think it might be a bit of a continuity error within the script where I think it might have been a deleted scene.
I think you're right.
Where he would have said something about TARDIS. They needed to cut it for time, but they just forgot that she then says TARDIS again. Yeah,
which is like an unfortunate sort of oversight.
I mean, it's not something to reach into. I guess you could always say as well, he has been there since her birth, so there could be some kind of...
Yeah, that it's kind of like he's seen her life, she's maybe kind of picked up some residual...
sort of thing, yeah, like some timey-wimey... I was going to say bullshit. Some timey-wimey bullshit, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think
It's not that
it
deep.
matters. No.
No.
Yeah, I know some people think that's a big.
I don't think it's a big mystery thing. I don't think there's any
I
big
don't think so.
mystery thing around Belinda anyway.
No.
No, there's
Well, yeah, and that gets me on to the next point
my favourite scene.
with the whole Monday
Yeah.
situation.
Loved it.
I
The only thing I didn't like was when she was like, I've got a new shift on Monday. Monday, 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 Monday. I was like, shut up. Jumping back. I saw that and was like, come on.
feel like that.
It just made me giggle. I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but come on, that was unnecessary. He could have just had a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you thought they handled the.
I loved it. I thought they handled it really well. But you have opposition. There's opposition in the ranks.
No, I liked the fallout from it. I just didn't. I don't like how much attention they gave it.
I like how I like the whole lead to it for her to show him some, not humanity, but give him it back, because he did scan her DNA without asking her.
Yeah.
He did do all the things that she said to him. He's so excited. He's like, this could be destiny. This could be this. He's getting so excited, and she's like, hold on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I love when she checks him and she's like, is that what you said, Sasha?
Yeah. It's
Because
such a good, like,
she sees through him. She's like, oh, is that what you say to all the girls? Destiny. And his cheeky face. Oh my god, Shooty's acting there.
He plays
it
so well.
God, everything is in those eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I love an actor who acts through their eyes, and oh my god.
And the little
that just the whole step face, raised chin,
and as he sort of steps back
and he
sort
does
of
all
like
that thing with
kind
his
of holds his mouth,
yeah.
like it's a really.
He's literally like, I don't like this. What are you?
Because there's almost a bit of anger in there of like,
oh yeah,
this isn't working and you're calling me out for it.
Yeah,
and like
I haven't had this.
Yeah, and I think I'm more drawn to this incarnation of the character now. I've got a little bit more depth.
I see Shooty as I see Shooty as baby doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So the bi generation, I see 14 as all of the others,
mm-hmm.
and then I see 15 as fresh new doctor, baby doctor.
Okay, yeah.
So he's like, this is uncomfortable. I'm not used to this, because everyone I've met, Ruby, like, she runs along and she really enjoys me, and we have fun together, but you're saying all these things and you're making me realize things about myself that no one else is.
You're being nice to me.
Yeah, you're making me realize things that I don't want you to realize, and that I'm finding out myself, I guess, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's adding depth. Having someone who's maturer, who's lived, who's had experiences, and she's like, this isn't right, you can't just go around doing this. It's adding layers to him as well from how he's responding to it. And that's making him giving him more dimension.
And also there's a sort of sense of this charm and charisma and like, not necessarily feels like an act, because I don't think that it is.
No, it's not a performance.
But I think that charm be a kind of manipulative
absolutely,
thing, channeled through that same charisma and like, you know, like, exactly, him being called out and being like, you literally had another girl lined up like half an hour ago, and who you'd known for 6 months,
and now you're saying that this is destiny and we were meant to be together.
I
love it.
It's really interesting, and I think that there's a lot of nuance in that performance, and you sort of see him try and charm his way out of it.
I really like the awkwardness as well, because the doctor doesn't. So if you carry on watching that, so he goes, I'm sorry. And then she's like, doctor, take me home. And it's like, doctor, do the right thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to take you. So then there's that awkward silence and pause, and he turns around to the console and he doesn't really know what to do. And he like gives her a little side eye, and then he just gives her like the lightest tap. He just pats her on the arm, and then he's like, okay. And then he's like, okay, go. And then it doesn't work. And then he's like, haha. And she's like, that was quick. And then he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. And
I really like that whole sequence where he's just awkward. He doesn't know where to sit now.
It's a really nice dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just feels very, very sort of sure of herself, but
she's
not
grounded as a
not in like
character,
not in a feisty way, like Donna or Amy was, where they'd sort of be a bit bullshit and a bit like, you know, she's just quite happy to go, no, that's not what I'm doing.
No.
Yeah, I think it's really, really, really interesting. I'm hoping that dynamic continues and that they don't have her sort of fall into the oh, okay, I'm actually really loving this thing too easily.
Yeah. Right.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful for
because
this.
we know where the end goal is to try to get to May 24th. So let's just see what adventures they go on to get to that point, and then what that means.
The episodes that we've got, there aren't any I'm like, oh, I don't like the look of that one.
Yeah.
There's ones I'm looking forward to more than others, but that's
just
obviously
how it goes. That's how it happens.
But yeah, I thought this was a solid start.
Yeah, I think it was promising. Watching this, it's promising.
It was it was a really solid start. How if you had to put a number ranking out of 10?
I'm on an 8.5 out of 10.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't like it as much as you.
No, I thought like structurally it was brilliant. I thought it was just so beautiful to watch, like visually. Music was great, obviously. Yeah, the only things I have are just some little nitpicks.
See, the structure was one of the things that I didn't. So I feel like it could have done with another couple of scenes, small scenes of the robots doing stuff or the rebels doing like, because we go once we get to the planet, it's very much ceremony hall, rebels flare.
But I think if you start adding things, that's when it starts to get messy and complicated, and the pacing starts to come out.
I don't know. I think because they're quite long scenes, but I feel like you could have maybe done with a little bit more, just so it didn't feel so much like it was like we're here, we're done.
I quite liked it though. I think it kept it moving.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to slow down,
no.
But I think it could equally, even if it were just breaking up some of the bit in the Rebels base, and we cut back up to the robots doing something. I'm not sure what specifically, but I think they could have done with one or two more, probably quite small scenes.
Yeah.
Just chucked in there just to give it an extra little bit of something.
Sure. To be fair, that could have been what they cut out.
Yeah. It's a 7 out of 10 for me.
What? A 7?
Yeah. I don't think that's harsh. I think that's solid. Like, how do you think it compares to RTD series openers?
Yeah.
So you got Rose, New Earth,
yeah.
Smith and Jones, Partners in Crime, Space Babies. I guess Star Beast. If you want.
No, I don't count the specials because they're specials. Just Spitfire without even thinking. Probably Rose. Always, that will always be my favourite. Rose, Robot Revolution, Partners in Crime, Smith and Jones, New Earth, Space Babies.
So it's better than all of them other than Rose for you?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think it's as good as Rose or Smith and Jones.
You love Smith and Jones,
I do really like Smith and Jones.
I don't vibe with it as much.
It's maybe like on a level with Partners in Crime. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really a really solid episode.
Yeah.
A lot of my issues are just sort of nitpicks. Right, should we wrap up because I want a muffin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed.
Let us know what you thought below on the episode.
Yeah. Drop us a comment.
Yeah.
Give it a like, share it around, all of that good stuff. If you want to give us a follow, Kat, where can they find you?
On Twitter, at simplykt_XO.
Lovely stuff. You can also find me on there at Sudden Biscuit and on YouTube. Join us next week for Lux. Yeah. I'm
so excited.
You're really...
Let's see if the same energy is here. Because it could be soul crushing, but it's not. Because I already know it's going to be so good. I can't wait. I'm so ready.
I am looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
I am really looking forward to this one. So yeah, join us again, same time next week. I hope you have a good one.
Yeah.
And we'll see you there.
See you there.
After Lux.
Bye.
Bye.